Hi everybody, my name is Tiffany Covington and this is my Woman in History presentation. The woman I chose to speak about is Amelia Earhart. Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24th, 1897 in Atchison, Kansas. As we should know, the first female aviator to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. Little history of her family. Her parents were Amy Otis Earhart and Edwin Stanton Earhart, along with her sister born 2 years later, Muriel. Her sister on the left-hand side, picture of her, and a picture of her father and her on the right-hand side. Amelia's education. The Earharts got educated at home by their mother up until high school. She attended the Hyde Park High School in Chicago, Illinois. She lived with her family till this time and attended college. While she completed a couple semesters, Earhart left to volunteer at a military hospital as a nurse. She took care of the wounded World War I soldiers, and this is her outfit of what she wore during that time when she did volunteer on the right-hand side. This is where it all began for Amelia. Amelia's first flight. In 1920, pilot Frank Hawks gave Amelia her first plane ride. Amelia enjoyed watching airplane stunt shows, which were very popular during this time. First flight changed Earhart's life. By the time I had gotten 200 or 300 feet off the ground, she said, I knew I had to fly, Amelia Earhart said. Amelia Earhart's flying lessons. First flying lessons began on January 3, 1921, at Kinner Field near Long Beach. Her teacher was Netta Snook, a pioneer female aviator. She hired her to teach her how to fly. To complete her transformation of a female flyer, she cropped her hair in shorter styles, and this was very popular during this time. A lot of female flyers had their hair shorter, so she did this to fit in. How did Earhart pay for these lessons? According to Andy Sewer, female pilots generally could not land steady jobs during the early 20th century. To earn the money for the flying lessons, Amelia worked several odd jobs like a telephone office. Earhart did public stunts to earn money. She set many flight records. Earhart said, I make a record and then I lecture on it. It all began 6 months later, Earhart's first plane. She was able to purchase her first airplane, a yellow Kinner Airster biplane she named the Canary. The cost was about $2,000. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. She flies across the Atlantic Ocean in 1928. She was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean as a passenger and as a pilot. She returned to New York as a hero. Amelia wanted to fly across the Atlantic Ocean again, but next time she wanted to fly by herself. Women's rights. Earhart wrote many books and articles, and she gave lectures against war and for women's rights. Amelia Earhart became a record-breaking female aviator whose international fame improved public acceptance of aviation and paved the way for other women in commercial flight. She also set many other flight records before she and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the Pacific in 1937 during an attempt to fly around the world. Amelia Earhart's legacy. Amelia Earhart inspired generations of female pilots. Amelia let a lot of women see the possibilities of what they could do and what they could be. Earhart believed that if she could prove that women can fly just as good as men, she states, I wanted to do it because I want to do it. Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be a challenge to others. I believe Amelia Earhart's legacy still lives on today. She broke down many barriers and served as a role model for women. She presented herself as a barrier breaker, yet remained admired by both men and women alike. Amelia Earhart. She was an aviator and a feminist who symbolized the excitement of early aviation and new roles for women. Society will always see her as an individual whose self-determination inspired other women of her time and in the future to chase their dreams despite any boundaries because she proved them wrong. Earhart left a significant mark in the fight for women's equality. So I chose Amelia Earhart because she created a movement for women's independence all across the world. She even influenced many pilots. She is brave to fly when it comes to dangerous situations. She has changed women's rights by telling them that they can do whatever they want, even when people say they can't. She was a very huge role model during the 1920s, and I believe she still is to this day. She left a significant mark on everybody. Thank you. This is my presentation.